My name is Adrian. This is my take on how to mod Skyrim. Yes, I'm aware it's 2021 and there are so many videos out there, and they're all just as good. My personal goal for this series is to take everything I've learned over the years I have been modding and break it down into an easier consumed video list for the odd one or two people who have never tried modding outside of the Creation Club. I am going to be making a video series of my personal mod list, which I have broken down into different categories. All of this is my personal opinion, just keep that in mind. It'll be a section of mods that so many mods on the Nexus need. Another video will be texture overalls, another video will be quality of life, and then there will be another one with specific textures for those who have specific tastes and want that one thing to look that much better. My goal is to break the videos down in such a way that you can take anything you need from it and ignore the rest. I have, in my searchings online, found massive videos like, hey, here's my 150, 200 mods, do it like this. But I never know what can I take, what can't I take, what's key, what's not key. Like, yeah, with some more modding background, you can figure that stuff out. Now I can, but at the time, I was new, I didn't know what I was doing, I was so paranoid that I needed everything to be the exact way. So this is my answer to that. In this series, I will tell you this one's key, this one's not key. I will explain to you what each of the mods are. I will show videos of what the mod looks like if there is videos on the Nexus from the authors. And I will read you the descriptions. You will then be able to choose if that's something you feel you're going to want, if you feel you're not going to want, and I will in general make it quite obvious if this is a have to or a personal choice. In each video, I will show you how to install that video's mods. On top of that, I will also provide all the links and mod names in the description, so everything is at your fingertips. You'll be able to access all the information as I do it. I will be trying to film this in such a way where if you don't want to bother memorizing, learning, or any of that stuff, you just want to take the same things, choose the same options, you should be able to follow along, no hassle. The way I am going to try lay out all these videos is, in the beginning, I will talk about the mods that we're going to grab. I will then go through installing them all and choosing the options I'm going to choose and letting you know what you'll need. Whatever conflicts need to be resolved, I will resolve at the end. The goal is to encounter everything you encounter so I can show you how I fix it. One of my goals is to get you the information as fast as possible, to not waste your time, because I know there's a lot of people out there that have avoided modding because it's just so much to learn, so much to do. If you honestly just can't be asked learning some stuff, nothing wrong with that, I do it a lot, then you should also be able to just follow along. And if your setup is the exact same as mine, you should have the exact same result. Now, you might be saying, well, how are you going to guarantee my setup's the same? The way I'm going to be doing that is through VirtualBox, because if I just open up my personal Vortex and go to my mods, everything is there, all the decisions have been made, all the conflicts have been resolved. I won't be able to show you what you need to know by doing it that way. So, what I have chosen to do is go through VirtualBox. This will simulate a Windows, and I'll be able to do everything fresh. I will have fresh Steam, a fresh Skyrim, and a fresh Vortex. Vortex or Nexus Mod Manager. These are the two most popular managers to mod Skyrim Special Edition. All of these steps should work quite similar on Nexus Mod Manager, but I would encourage you to go find someone else to learn how to use that if you don't already, because everything I'll show you is through Vortex. It's what I've learned, it's what I'm comfortable with, and in my opinion it's the most user-friendly. So to highlight, this will be a clean Steam, a clean Skyrim, and a clean Vortex installations. Now, one thing I want to make clear right now is just because I'm doing it like this does not mean you have to get rid of your saves or start a new game. You should be able to install all of these mods mid-gameplay. So you can be halfway through the game and install all of this. It should be fine. I don't want to guarantee it'll be fine, but personally I've never run into problems. I'm just doing it this way so that if you want to follow me exactly, you should have the exact same results. To having a clean Skyrim, this is what I'd recommend. This is what almost everyone agrees on is the best way to start fresh, especially if you're going to be doing a heavily modded Skyrim. If you have been modding with the Creation Club and Midway and don't want to start fresh, that should be okay. From videos I've seen, it's recommended to save your game, unequip anything related to a mod from the Creation Club, and if you're in a player home, leave that. Pretty much get rid of anything related to mods on your character, then save again. Now, this new save where you're unattached from the mod file will be the save you'll load up. So you'll have one save while your mods are still turned on, and now another save where all your mods are unequipped. Not turned off, just unequip or walk away from anything that's related to the mods. Then save your game and go back into the Creation Club, turn off all the mods, then launch your game again and check it's working fine. If everything's working, you can still run around, you can still play the game with no issue. Save again. This newest save will be the one you'll use when you mod Skyrim through these videos. And then it should be as close to a vanilla Skyrim as you can get without starting from scratch. Now that's if you were using Creation Club mods. If you were not and you got a clean Skyrim and you're just waiting on me to get a move on, then perfect. You're exactly where you need to be for the rest of these videos. I would like to mention is my mod list. If I go enabled, I've got 212 mods on my mod list. I do not have the best system. If I show you, I don't have a very show-off system, and I still run all 212 mods at 45 to 60 FPS depending on how busy it is and how many effects are going on at the given time. On top of that, I also have my base Skyrim options. I have everything defaulted to Ultra. So with Ultra and all 212 mods, I get an average of 45 to 60 FPS on my rig, which is nothing to show off. So if your specs are better than this, you should have 60 FPS plus. In saying that, I also chose my mods smart. I will explain that as we encounter those. I just wanted to point out that this mod list should not slow down your gameplay if you choose to get everything in the entire series, which you don't have to. You can just take the ones you want and walk away. That's one of my main goals, which I think I've mentioned. Another thing I want to make you aware of how much space this needs. So Skyrim itself is about just under 13 gigs. All of these mods we'll see now when this is done. So, not gonna lie, a little bit shocked. It went all the way to 101. So, I'm going to recommend to have at least enough free space on your machine, 100 to 120 gigs. Now, this is probably all 322 mods that I've tried out, so yours probably won't be as big. To set aside roughly 100 to 120 will just be a nice safe bet. So, you will have a list in the description similar to this. I will provide every link I use in the description. Now while my game downloads, let's grab some stuff. So Vortex, Razer Cortex. These are two things Vortex you will need for this. Razer Cortex, this is optional. I personally recommend it. It frees up some space, some RAM space while you're playing selected games. Personally, I enjoy it a lot. It's probably what's helped my system keep up with a lot more modern games. Like if I hit boost right now, it's just freed up 1370 megabytes of RAM. That can make the FPS difference in a game. If you've got a lot of it, don't worry about it. It's just a recommendation. And again, I'm showing you my setup on how I play Skyrim and how I've modded Skyrim. So while we wait for my game to install, I may as well grab these. Download the latest version, always recommended. So Vortex do manual install. Well, what I would always recommend is scroll down, you see description. Most mods will show you description. Go to files, go down, manual download. Check the date. Yep, it's the most recent one. Do the custom location one if you like being very specific with your stuff. For this case, I don't need that, so I'm just going to go for it. You have to be logged in to be able to get Vortex. You need an account. So I'm just going to do that real quick. Register, it's pretty straightforward. Once you have registered, go to files, grab the one that's relevant to you. In my case, I'm just going to grab this one, grab custom, it should be the same. Whenever this pops up, it will start automatically. Don't hit the download button, you will be sending the same command twice. So if nothing starts loading, then click this one. So once you have all of that, go ahead and install those. Anything like this comes up, just say yes. Vortex is okay, it's a trusted program. You do not need to worry about it. Let me put it this way, I've been using it ever since it came out. I've never worried about it. Cool, Vortex is done. Go grab Cortex. Now again, you do not have to use Cortex. I just personally recommend it to anyone who's not already using it or has never heard of it before. Doesn't matter how good your system is, it can always help. So Razer Cortex just shuts down background running programs or other things that you just don't need running right now to give your game the most resources your computer could possibly offer. So that's why we get it. So it's really up to you if you want it or not. So once this finally comes up, Cortex, Synapse, I'm just grabbing Cortex. While we're waiting for all of that to download, bonus tip, if you play lots of games, go Windows, Settings, Privacy. So you want to scroll down here, go to Background Apps, and you can go ahead and just turn all of that off. Or you can do it individually if you know there's certain things you do use. For me, personally don't care. Just because you've turned them off does not mean you can't use these features. So if you still want to use Calculator, it'll just have to boot up. It won't be in the background. Now that that's done, that's the main programs out of the way. Once you've got Vortex, I do recommend logging into the account that you had just registered on Nexus. That way it links the two up. If Vortex comes up with the this should have opened up automatically in your web browser. If it doesn't, manually copy and paste, hit authorize on the browser, and then everything should be linked up. And you are good to start the video. This is the end of the prologue, or setup video if you will. The next one will be the mod list I've put together of all of the mods, in my opinion, that almost everything in Nexus needs. There hasn't been a mod out of the odd 500-600 mods I've played around with that needed something outside of this list. So thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next part.